The aerial lift bridge has an amazing heritage and is a very exciting part of Duluth's experience. We all know this, but we don't all know its history.
Earlier known as the aerial ferry bridge, more than a football field long, at full height it stands 138 feet above the water and it weighs about 900 tons. It's the aerial lift bridge. This is the best bridge ever. I know, oh my gosh.
But it wasn't always the marvelous aerial lift bridge. In the 1870s, the people of Duluth dug a canal that would open the harbor to shipping traffic. The canal was great for the shipping industry, but it made Park Point an island, and that meant the people of Park Point couldn't get to the mainland. This led to some pretty drastic measures.
Oh man, this is the worst bridge ever. I hate this bridge. I hate it.
Clearly, they needed a bridge, so much that they held a large contest to find a solution. One man, Thomas McGilvery, had a very good idea, even if he wasn't a contestant.
I have been reading about a bridge in Rouen, France that was used to solve a problem similar to ours. My proposal is to build a bridge, a ferry bridge.
The Duluthians loved his idea, and the residents of Park Point were very excited. But before the construction of the new bridge could happen, some things needed to be taken care of.
Many federal problems sprang up, such as the permission grant, and of course the estimated $100,000 for the purchase cost was not necessarily a breeze.
On September 9th, 1901, the federal officials signed off on a plan for the bridge. In 1904, city officials signed off on the final contract for the bridge construction.
In 1902, the bridge construction began.
The bridge's ferry boat, also known as gondola, was to be 50 feet long by over 30 feet wide with 17-foot wide center roadways and 7-foot wide walkways on either side of the roadway.
Cables powered by two 50-horsepower electric streetcar motors installed under the gondola would drive the gondola across the canal at a rate of 45 miles per hour. Although there were two motors, only one would run at a time and the other served as backup.
The motors of the gondola turned a drum on the side of the car. The cables wound around the drum and up to the traveling pulley, a truck holding many sets of wheels that rode along the truss. If, at any time, the motors failed, a hand gear was used to drive the gondola safely across the canal.
The gondola car had a capacity of 60 tons and could carry 350 people, plus wagons, streetcars, and automobiles across the canal in about 1 minute.
The car went across every 5 minutes and hung over dry land when it was not moving. The gondola car would also allow ships to pass under the bridge.
The bridge's construction was completed in 1905, and the bridge was put into service for the public on March 27, 1905. Only about 40 people were brave enough to ride on the gondola during its first time across the canal. And during its first year, it transported about 30,000 people to and from Park Point in one day.
I bet some of you are thinking this isn't what the bridge looks like today. You're right, and here's why.
In the late 1920s, automobiles became more popular, and with an increased use of the gondola, it was unable to meet the demand. And in order for more citizens to have the convenience of driving their new automobiles, city leaders decided to convert the aerial bridge into a new design that would meet people's demand. And it was, you guessed it, the aerial lift bridge.
The biggest change of the bridge was that a flat deck would now span the length of the bridge. The bridge would raise and lower, allowing ships to pass under it.
Work needed to be done on both sides of the bridge to support the new bridge's added weight and dynamics.
The aerial ferry bridge carried its last carload of passengers at 8:45 a.m. on July 1st, 1929.
The bridge's construction only lasted a year, and it was constructed with 700 tons of steel and 100,000 rivets.
Two 450-ton concrete block weights on each end, lifted by electronic pulleys, were used to raise and lower the lift bridge.
Most of the bridge's operation power is from storage batteries charged by generators, and if the power lines fail, generators can be operated by diesel engines.
On October 29, 1929, an estimated amount of 5,000 Duluthians came to watch the new aerial lift bridge's first big lift. Woo! Here goes the bridge, guys! Watch! It's gonna go up soon, what if it crashes? Oh my gosh.
Gosh.
It's going up. It's going up.
Guys, that's so cool.
Oh my gosh.
You know, the bridge doesn't operate itself. The 6 of us do, and I'm the boss.
There are 4 bridge operators, and I'm one of them.
Even though we all split the jobs evenly, I'm the main maintenance person.
The Coast Guard tells us what to do, and we raise the bridge every half hour, 7 to 9 p.m. in the summertime. We also operate the tiny blue bridge near the deck, and our repair money comes from the city.
Today, the bridge brings money from tourists and makes sure park pointers can get to the mainland, but our main priority is the ships.
Today, the bridge. Speaking of ships, some of the ships we aid are cargo ships, sailboats, charters and the vistas, fishermen and women, canoes, and maybe in the future, cruise ships. Oh, we're going on Lake Superior. We're carrying cargo, carrying cargo. Now we're sailing, sailing. We're Duluthians, park pointers. I'm catching some fish, some walleye, some pike. Don't let 'em bite. I'm catching some fish, catching some fish, catching some fish.
The aerial lift bridge has drawn many tourists to Duluth and has an incredible history, and we continue to celebrate it as it remains an iconic landmark today.
Woo!